If you have yet to subscribe to the channel, I am just going to tell you this. Why would you subscribe? Well, it's to get daily Michigan football videos from the man willing to rock that mustache that you see on screen there. Actually, I had it for like 3 weeks after that, for 2 full months from the Michigan State loss through the Georgia game. It was Michigan's good luck charm. And I'm willing to do that for this team. We're putting out a video every single day this season into the offseason. So, if anything, subscribe for me just because of my willingness to rock a mustache and make a complete fool of myself just because of superstition during the 2021 season, leading Michigan to a win over Ohio State and, of course, a Big Ten championship. All right, we're going to dive into some questions on the offense, some injury rumors, and more, all coming up on the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports right now. I am your host, James Yoder, here on a Wednesday evening, 3 days until Michigan 2022 homecoming game against Maryland at 12 o'clock. Big noon kickoff on Saturday. Joel Klatt, the whole crew will be in Ann Arbor for that game. But we're going to talk about a lot of things today. But I have been getting hit up all since last night, today, Twitter, DMs, et cetera, about injury rumors. People are like, hey, is it this player? Is it an offensive lineman starter? Is it a tight end starter? Is it a wide receiver? What's the injury, James? Some of the blog boys put out very vague rumors, didn't confirm any names. I'm going to talk about it and address it towards the end of the show. So if you want to hear my take on it, go ahead and watch to the end of the show. Scrub forward if you want to, whatever it is. But I'll talk about that. I'm not going to give the name, so maybe I'll spoil my teaser there. But I will at least address what the word is out there about a Michigan football injury. To start off today's show, before we dive into some of the big-time questions heading into this game, I want to know what you guys think Michigan will do from a passing perspective. In the first 3 games, they've thrown 28 times, 22 times, 26 times, right? Half of those, or maybe a little bit more than half, have been by the starting quarterback, and then quite a few backups, right? Michigan had 7 quarterbacks complete a pass on Saturday against Colorado State, which is pretty cool to see. Against UConn, pretty cool to see though, regardless. So let me know what you guys think. How many passes will Michigan attempt, the entire team, in Saturday's Big Ten opener against the Maryland Terrapins? Let me know down in the comments. We're doing a mailbag today. First question coming in from Scotty Haft. He says, do you think Coach Harbaugh will finally let JJ loose against the Maryland defense? If you follow this program, if you follow this team, Jim Harbaugh has really laid it on Maryland over the years, and they've rolled out things against Maryland that they have not shown that entire season prior to today. If you look back several seasons, right? JJ McCarthy so far, 2 starts, 34 passing attempts, 4-4 in the opener, then 11 of 12, followed by 15 of 18 on the year, 473 yards and 3 touchdowns. But if you look back what Michigan has done against Maryland under Harbaugh, remember, last year it was Donovan Edwards, the third-string running back, 10 catches for 170 and a touchdown. There was also the pass across the field on the kickoff return. There's also the Giles Jackson kickoff return. There's also been a punt return, punt blocks. Michigan's done all kinds of crazy things. It seems almost like Jim Harbaugh personally and purposefully makes Maryland his whipping boy. So if there's any game that you're going to let JJ McCarthy throw 35 times, maybe it's this one. Maybe you go out with a pass-heavy offense early on, and McCarthy throws 20 to 22, 24 times in the first half. I don't think Jim Harbaugh is going to change his stripes, though. If Michigan has a 2 to 3 touchdown lead and the starters are still in, I still think he's going to go run heavy, despite the fact that I think Michigan needs to show they can be a pass-heavy team when they need to at times. Still have yet to do really that ever in the Harbaugh era, I should say. Our next question comes, James, from Jamie Broussard. James, who do you believe will give Michigan the biggest challenge in the conference schedule? So taking that question, Jack, then we'll jump to this one. I'll kind of answer them together. Michael Brothers says, Michigan is already an 11.5-point underdog to Ohio State, shaking my head. The answer to both those questions are just, going there. It's an Ohio State thing, right? And that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. This is the number 2 team in the country, or number 3 team now, Ohio State. The number 1 offense when it comes to yardage per game. And they've got some injuries, right? Travion Henderson's injured. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been injured. But guys have emerged, right? They had 2 running backs kind of step up against Toledo. They've had Marvin Harrison look like maybe the best wide receiver in the country. As long as Ryan Day is the coach, they're going to have one of the best offenses in all of college football. And that's really all you need this day and age, of of the sport is to have an offense that could score points. We've seen plenty of teams make the playoff, plenty of teams even get to national title games with suspect defense. So Ohio State is the answer to that question. And then I do think it's disrespectful. Michigan beat Ohio State 15 points this past year, and now they're an 11.5 point underdog just 9-10 months later. It seems a little wild and crazy to me. I think Michigan certainly can beat Ohio State. I think they will beat Ohio State this year in Columbus if JJ McCarthy has the ability to make plays in this offensive set. So if you're with me on that one, go ahead and type BOSA beat Ohio State again down in the comments. This is a BOSA heavy comment show. So get down there and let's show those Ohio State fans who still infiltrate our comments. They used to be trolls. Oh, Michigan hasn't won in years. Now they're just kind of haters because they haven't beat Michigan in like was it 1,060 days, 1,040 days, something like that. Go ahead, type BOSA below. Today's sponsor is our clothing partner. We have got 2 items I want to point out for you guys on sale. This Mays hoodie, right? We are a little less than a month, about 3 weeks and a couple days away, 3 weeks, 3 days from Michigan's Mays Out against Penn State on October 15th. Don't be the guy, if the temperature's down in the 40s or 50s, don't be the guy showing up wearing your big Walmart blue coat because you don't have anything Mays for cold weather. Get it right now. This thing is 40% off. Go to chatsports.com/Mays hoodie. Link is in the comments and the description. And what I wore to the Hawaii game, I also wore it in our post game this past Saturday for UConn, the Michigan football official Jordan brand shirt, dry fit. It's one of these shirts that comes, it looks kind of wrinkly until you wash it one time. You make sure you get a little dryer on there. Wrinkles come out, you put it on. It's a form-fitting shirt, awesome shirt. I love it. Glad I bought it. Go to chatsports.com/Michigan TV. Sorry, not TV, Michigan T. That link and will be in the comments and the description of today's video. Get hooked up. The links drop you right on the page to purchase either one of those items. Certainly, you want to be repping the latest Michigan football gear. By the way, don't go to a game. Don't be showing up with any Adidas Michigan gear. It's been 6 years, okay? Get some damn Jordan stuff. Get started there. chatsports.com/Michigan T. Roger with the question coming in from our YouTube channel. James, why do you think Sherrone Moore, Matt Weiss, and Jim Harbaugh, the 2 offensive coordinators, and of course Jim Harbaugh, are not used to we're not getting Andrel Anthony involved in the passing game? Do you think it maybe him as a decoy or using him for just blocking? I think they need to get him the ball. So let's take a look at Andrel Anthony so far 3 games this season. Some pretty paltry stats. 1 catch for 5 yards for Andrel Anthony. So if you're not paying attention, which I don't know if I was until I really dove into some of the numbers this week on Anthony, I was like, oh, geez, he must be in the doghouse. Maybe he's got an injury. We're not seeing him there. Because I see him there, then I don't see him. So I went and looked at the snap counts. And Michigan has played Andrel Anthony a ton. When I went and watched a couple days ago, Monday morning, I watched the Big Ten in 60, Michigan, UConn. He was out there a ton. He was out there in the first half. He was out there in the second half. He's playing a ton of backup reps right now. And he is the 3rd leading receiver when it comes to snaps. Right? He's more snaps than A.J. Henning, more snaps than Roman Wilson, almost double Roman Wilson. I think they're keeping Wilson fresh for the Big Ten season, and Anthony's getting a ton of those number 1 receiver snaps with the 2nd and the 3rd team right now. He's just not getting any catches. I don't know why. I haven't really reached out. I haven't tried to get any source on that. I do think he has a ton of talent. I think he's a guy that JJ McCarthy trusts, but he hasn't got any catches yet. Really, not many passing attempts. They're not really throwing it to him. So hopefully they're keeping him in the coffers, hiding him for Big Ten play. He's doing an excellent job blocking. He has been instrumental in quite a few Michigan football touchdowns blocking on the edge. His great blocking grades have been great. And last year it wasn't until the Michigan State game, right? The 7th or 8th game of the year until he broke out. You're like, wow, who the heck is this kid? Scored 2 touchdowns. Maybe that's what we'll see against Saturday against Maryland. Maybe not, but he is certainly playing a ton of snaps, 73 snaps on the year, only behind Ronnie Bell and Cornelius Johnson at that position. The Nate the Great says, if you had to pick any Power 5 team from the SEC conference to play a home and home, who would it be? Now, when I looked at this before the show, I thought he meant just a Power 5 team in general, but they does specify SEC, so I have to kind of rethink this one. I would go with probably, if it's just the SEC only, I would say either Tennessee or Georgia right now, for my perspective, right? Tennessee, because they've got the 2nd biggest stadium in the country, right? Number 1, number 2, I think that'd be interesting. They do a lot of cool things. Maybe Michigan gets the win, although the Bulls are number 11 in the country right now. Georgia, because, Michigan's played Alabama over the years. They've only really played the Georgia this past year in the college football playoff. It would just be interesting to me, Georgia. I don't know why. I don't have any really reason why, but Michigan and Georgia really have never faced off. I really actually think the one game they've ever played in the history of the program is this past year. Have played Alabama plenty of times in bowl games. Have played Auburn plenty of times in bowl games. Have played Florida, more than they played most Big Ten teams last few years in bowl games. And so I would choose Tennessee or Georgia for an SEC-only home and home. Although I think those are kind of going away right now. I don't think when the Big Ten has USC, UCLA, that you're going to see a ton of these major conference home and home games anymore. It might be more one-offs than it is scheduled home and homes. But I don't know for you guys. Not just the SEC. If we say all of college football, Michigan's still slated to have home and homes over the 2024 to 2027. They've got kind of home and homes, although they're kind of staggered with Texas and Oklahoma. I expect those to be canceled at this point. I honestly do. Who would you want Michigan to have an out-of-conference home and home with? Let me know. I'm going to stick with Tennessee as my number one, no matter what the conference is. Let me know who your number one wish list for a home and home for these Wolverines down in the comments. All right, let's talk about the injury rumors because you guys have been blowing it up today. Who's the injury rumors? One of these $10 a month pay sites put out their typical, we're hearing this, we can't say the name. I don't have a great source. I didn't really even reach out to anybody. I reached out to one or two people, and they said, I think that's what it is, but don't quote me on it. And I'm not going to put anyone's name on that. And if you've watched the show for several years, if we've got news that we can verify and confirm, we will break it before anybody else will. We're not worried about any blowback, any backlash. I mean, look, one of Michigan's coaches currently, whose name I'm forgetting at the top of my mind, offensive lineman, we said he was done for his career months before anybody else would. And he even said, publicly, he said, oh, you're lying. That's not true, although we had an unbelievably good source on it. It's possible it's an offensive player. It's possible it's a starter. And if I know the name 100% or at least 99%, I'll tell you on Thursday or Friday. But I would say this. Go to the film, watch the Big Ten and 60 on Big Ten Network from this past weekend. Look around and say what player that normally starts just really wasn't in the game much after the middle of the first quarter. And if you can figure that out, you've got your name, and that's kind of what I'm leaning on in the player I've been asking about. So just go look at the film. Look at the starting lineup for the last few games. Look at the guys who typically are in there. Who wasn't in there, that's your player. And if we find out for sure, we'll tell you on Thursday or Friday's show. All right, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We will be back with another show Thursday and Friday. Got some interesting rumors I want to sprinkle out there, so hopefully do a rumors roundup tomorrow and a preview or so whatever the news comes in the across our desk for Friday. Until then, go Blue.